Hey everyone, welcome back to the Discover Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Trahan, and today we are not in our normal studio. We're actually going to be talking about the things going on here in the Cape Charles area, and who better to join us than our guest today, Ahyoka Yeshua. She has been the lead advocacy interim here for serving both at a local community project as well as her own work as the CEO of Streamline Success International. So I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. But before we do, I want to give a big, huge thank you to our studio host today, the Northampton Hotel. Located in Cape Charles, Virginia, Northampton Hotel and Cafe offers modern amenities and comforts and has one of the best views in town. And to top it all off, it's only a quick walk away from the beach side here in Cape Charles. So if you're looking to plan summer vacation, now is the time. Go over to northampton.com. That's northampton.com. And you can sign up there and book your stay because let's face it, they're about to sell out. All right, let's get to the show. Ahyoka, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are so honored to be speaking with you and also being here in Cape Charles on your side of the water.
Yes, it's such a beautiful place. And if you have a chance, you have got to go to the beach before you leave.
Absolutely. We are going to be doing that here shortly. And then Michael's going to get some behind the scenes footage for us of this amazing hotel because they have the cafe, they have some of the tea time here that they do, and then they have an espresso machine, which is phenomenal. But before I start getting hungry and wanting to book a stay here, we got to do this podcast.
Yes.
So I want to start off with your why, with your journey, because so many of the people in and around our community have their own story and their own unique take on what brought them to the area. So for you, what exactly brought you to the Cape Charles, Eastern Shore area and got you to work on this project? And tell us more about it.
Yes. So we're from Georgia. I was originally born and raised in Washington, D.C. And my stepmom, her side of the family, lives here on the Eastern Shore. So believe it or not, we used to come by and visit growing up, but I never lived here. So when we felt like it was time to go somewhere else, go somewhere different, we moved to Maryland. We were trying to kind of nomadic, trying to find the right place. And I've come to realize you can never find real land here. If you're in the city without having to brush your teeth and wave at your neighbor at the same time. Right. So my stepmom was like, well, we have a family house. Why don't you go down to the shore? Sure. So we came down here and we were like, oh, we'll be here about 3 months, like a year and a half later, still here. And it grew on us and we fell in love with the peace and the beauty. And like I said, the sunrises, the sunsets, it's just, and the people are amazing as well. It's been really, really great experience. Well, one day last year was actually doing a garden tour. We went over to the Cape Charles Rosenwald School Restoration Initiative, where they are over the hump and they are restoring the Cape Charles Elementary School. And that's when I met the board and they were telling me all about the school. Well, I had never heard of a Washington Rosenwald School in my life. So I was really intrigued by what they were doing. It was me, my husband, and our children. And that day we literally kind of became docents and was helping out and just jumped right in.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yes. It's just like a real community bonding experience.
Yes. Now, funny enough, when we looked, there was literally a pit in the middle of the floor where the auditorium is. And they were explaining the fact that when it opened, it was an elementary school for many years and it closed in 1966. It became an eel packing plant. And then after that, it sat desolate for a long time. Until they were able to purchase it. And Cape Charles actually gave them some land as well for them to restore it and they decided to make it a multi-generational family community center. Yeah. Now that is near and dear to my heart because I love community.
Absolutely too, because that time period, I mean, the whole United States was undergoing a lot of changes. I mean, there was the official desegregation of the schools and the restarting of a lot of communities, especially here in Longwood University. They closed down their college because they couldn't find a way to assimilate right away. They needed that time. So it's so fascinating to hear you being a part of that community and continuing on with that active journey that so many communities still wrestle with today and doing that hard work. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. And when I came, I really felt compelled. From my lineage history, where I come from, Atlanta, Georgia, I come from a lineage of people in the community. Maynard Jackson's my uncle, who's the first African-American mayor of Atlanta, Georgia. I have people who desegregated libraries in my family. Madawidow Dobbs is in the museum in DC because she was the first African-American opera singer. So this is literally, my grandfather was a dentist for the Tuskegee Airmen. So I couldn't get away from community building if I wanted to. It's in my blood.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So when I found out that they needed assistance and I offered my services, my company, Streamline Success International, and I wanted to help with the messaging, the brand, and they were really looking for a community engagement consultant, really to get the word out, to engage the people, to find out how do you, aka the community, want to use this facility.
Sure.
Now again,
because at that point it had been abandoned, right?
Right. Well, no, they've been working on it for a while to restore it.
Sure. But prior to that, the city had kind of
sat for 40 years.
40 years. Okay, yeah. That's what I was getting at. It had sat quite a bit of time. So the community saw that they needed to begin the renovation process, and that's kind of where you had stepped in volunteering wise.
Well, no, actually, they started this project, I think 12 or 16 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, the board was already formed. They were working on it. But now that it's getting closer to opening,
okay,
it was like, okay, we need to now engage even more so the community. Let's find out what type of programming do they want. Because currently they have the Eastern Shore Community College will be offering classes down there. Workforce development. They have an actual a kitchen that can be used from entrepreneurs to launch their food business. So there's so much that they're already doing, but it was more of a, okay, well, what else does the community need or want? So I came out and started to make some noise.
Wow, that is so awesome. And just the uniqueness of how your story kind of intertwined with the city overall of, hey, this is something we need to restore. This is something we actively working on. And you just kind of like seeing that opportunity. And, as a business owner yourself, you saw that and kind of jumped on it. I want to dive into your business journey as well, too, because a lot of business owners, especially those raising families, like I am currently, I have to ask myself why a lot. Like, should I be raising kids and doing business? How do I balance that? So for you, Ahyoka, what is your why? What is your reasoning behind, continuing to build a business and brand?
That's a great question. One that I have to remind.
Not that you can't build a business or brand, of course. As I was saying those words, I was like, no, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean? But
yes,
why?
You know how this is what I tell people.
Okay.
Who you truly are when you're a child. Before people tell you no, before people put their opinions on you, if you really look back, there were certain characteristics about yourself that always existed. That kind of leaves breadcrumbs and clues to what you should be and do. So for me, I've always organized, like literally had things to do list at 5. I've always planned. I was always the one who gathered people, loved talking to people, loved being with people. So I knew that for me, it was a matter of fulfilling who I was. And sometimes we lose who that is and understanding our true nature and who we're called and created to be. But for me, it was like, I can't quit. Now, there are days I definitely want to quit.
Sure.
However, I look at my children, I look at the calling on my life, and I say, that's not an option. We have to figure it out. We might have to stop for that day. We may have to figure out a different route. We might need to take a step back. We might need to break down, scream, and cry because it's been one of those days.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you're allowed to stop being what you were called and created to be. That's not an option.
When did you realize what you were called to do? Can you take us back to that season or that moment?
Yes. I was 35. I was at a speaking engagement and not speaking, but I went to a conference about speakers. And as the woman's talking, she talked about professional speaking. I'm like, wait, I do that. Because my family business, I did a lot of training for the brands and made sure that we found the right people. So I was always, my background is elementary education and I have an MBA. I was always teaching. I was always already doing it. I just did not see that. So as I'm sitting there and she's walking across the stage and I'm like, I literally felt a jolt through my whole body. Like, that's it. And I knew that I knew that I knew that's what I was supposed to be doing. And it was to be on stage. It was to leave an impact and an imprint and to change lives. Now that has morphed into different ways of being able to do that. But the baseline is the same. It's about impacting lives.
And when it comes to that impact, I think especially in the entrepreneur's journey and especially as a mom boss yourself, you have that internal struggle. I do as a dad. Like, how do I like do this like awkward balance of like kids and work and things like that? So for you, I think you, kind of hit that nail on the head with your goal and your passion, your calling is that you refer to as more of a rotation. Can you tell us more about that the ideology behind your business systems?
Yes. Okay. So Boss Mom University is my heart. Streamline Success International is what I do. I service different type of clients, from nonprofits to small businesses, social entrepreneurs, and really help them go from their vision to actually executing it, their steps, and give them the clarity so they're not overwhelmed. Well, Boss Mom University was birthed in about 2019, 2020, and that is a place for moms to be able to come to learn and understand that you don't have to choose between being an entrepreneur and a mom. You just have to, as we say at Boss Mom University, grind differently. And that's okay, whatever that looks like for you. So I teach, and one of our pillars is the fact that live life in rotation, because balance is a myth. It doesn't exist, in my opinion. And why do I say that? So many times I felt guilty of trying to do both.
Okay.
How to be an entrepreneur and a wife and a mom and homeschool and any other hats in leadership that I wore. And I realized that if it's balanced, that means it's 50-50. Well, that means that if you take all the things that are on my plate and divide it up equally, barely anybody gets anything.
Right.
But if I'm in rotation, so right now my children need me, that means business has to sit down. And that's okay. See, there's always been this hustle culture, right? You got to get it done. You got to do this. You got to do this.
You got to grind away to be successful, right? Yeah.
I disagree. There's a grace to grind. You got to understand the grace and the ebb and the flow. When you understand that, you work a lot better and you're more productive. And not only that, what good is it if that happens, my children grow up and say, yeah, my mom got a successful business, but she was never there.
Yeah.
Which one matters more? And children, their currency is time. They don't care about the bills being paid or how they eat or any of that. It's, okay, I want to play. So what I've learned is that if I play with them and tell them, set the parameters, okay, mommy can play for 10 minutes with you, but then I have to get back to work. It fills up their love language in their tank, and then they go about their business, and then I get back to it. So I turn the dial, and there's some days that business happens for 5 minutes, and there's other days it's 8 hours. But it's turning that life into rotation to understand what needs me right now. And if it's an hour, and I'm all in. And you have me for that hour. And then turn it to the next hour. What am I focusing on? You'll be way more productive than trying to spend 4 hours on something and you get one email out.
So true. And what better place to like work and play than in Cape Charles, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of like the easiest place to work. I mean, that's why Michael and I were like, yeah, let's come do a podcast setup of here, because you just like literally as you go over the bridge in the tunnel, like that just the pressure reduces, and
it's a difference. You feel it.
It's a difference. And regardless of where you are, it sounds like the systems that you have through Boss Mom University is a good avenue for folks to work with. Would you mind sharing where folks can go to learn more about that? And then we'll do a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll be talking about some rapid fire questions about Cape Charles.
Sure. Well, they can find me at www.iamahyoka, and that's AHYOKA.com. And they can really read more about my story, who I am, and they can find out how to contact me there.
Lovely. Thank you so much. When we get back, we're going to be doing some rapid fire questions about life here in Cape Charles, and also sharing some hidden gems. The locals will definitely be mad at me for sharing, but you got to talk about Cape Charles when you're Cape Charles. We'll be right back. And we're back. Ahyoka, thank you so much for sharing your life and your business journey here thus far in Cape Charles. Let's talk about the city, shall we?
Yes.
So when it comes to life here in the Cape Charles area, what is one of your go-to spots for a nice meal out with just you and the hubby, where the kids can stay home and fend for themselves?
Oh, you are making that a hard one. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Listen up, hubby. It's almost Mother's Day.
All right.
The time of this recording. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So can I give two?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Oyster Farm has had some amazing memories and the view is phenomenal. The view is very phenomenal.
Oyster Farm.
Yes.
Yep. Very classic.
Yes. And the E&O pub just opened up and we just had the carrot cake the other day. I would have to fight somebody over that. It is that delicious.
I've yet to try the carrot
Oh.
cake, but they recently remodeled, right? They
Yeah.
rebranded everything, and
Mhm.
it seems really nice. Yeah.
It is, and my husband's been having the chicken wings are really, really good. So I would say those two because it's more of a relaxed atmosphere. You can sit outside, and especially in the springtime here in Cape Charles, the weather is phenomenal. So I would have to say those two locations.
I love it. What neighborhood, if any, I don't know, it's a small town, but just curious, what area or neighborhood is your favorite part to visit in and around the Cape Charles area?
I would have to say because I'm a mom, by the park.
By the park. Okay.
Yes, that has become the center of everyday life.
Is there a main street or a street name?
That would be
or
Strawberry.
the park?
Strawberry. It's called Cape Charles Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But it's off of Strawberry Street.
Unlike Virginia Beach, where you have like 20 Virginia beaches, you guys have the main
that's
one.
it.
Yep.
That's just
Cape Charles Park.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very awesome. So when you're not down at the beach, what is one of those fun activities you like to go out and do just for yourself, just for solo, to kind of appreciate the charm that is Cape Charles?
I would have to say that would be Kipto Peak State Park.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Kipto Peak State Park. Yeah, absolutely.
The beach there is beautiful, but also just the nature, just being able to relax and unwind. And there are places in Kipto Peak where you could sit and just see everything. And I love water. Water soothes me. Nature soothes me. So I would have to say, yeah, Kipto Peak.
Lovely, lovely. If there is one thing you could change about Cape Charles, one thing you could change, which one would it be, or what would it be?
I wish. I understand why. Let me put that caveat.
Okay. Hold on, locals. Hold on. Strap in. Buckle in.
Don't hurt me. Because when we came, it was October,
Okay.
right? So we never lived in a small town or rural area before.
Sure.
And everything was closed down early.
Yeah.
And we were like, I don't get what's happening, what's going on. So if I could wish, there would be actually two. One, and this means that there would be enough customers, so I get it, business people, to make it make sense.
Say your piece.
But that the businesses were open longer. Like
Okay.
as far as they kind of shut down for about 3 months.
Yeah.
So then we go stir crazy because we're like in the house and nothing to do. And I wish Brown Dog Ice Cream stayed open longer.
Well, rest in peace, Brown Dog Ice Cream. They're
No,
gone?
no. They're not gone, but their hours of when they actually open.
Yeah,
I know. I was
okay. All right, hold on there. I was about to say, my
no,
kids
Brown
are
Dog is
riot.
still alive.
Yeah,
Still
okay.
alive.
Good.
But my fight is that people eat ice cream 365. I
Yeah.
wish you were open.
You got to start selling the pints and the gallons. Yeah, at
Right.
that point. Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to give you a heart attack.
No, you're good. That was scary. That was scary. Awesome. Well, Ahyoka, thank you so much for joining us on the Discover Virginia podcast today. And of course, thank you again to the Northampton Hotel for hosting us here. We've really enjoyed, having a conversation here. Definitely check out some behind the scenes footage we have coming up here for you shortly. And we'll see you all in another episode very soon. Bye for now.
Bye.